Welcome back to CBH4K, and let's talk about Starfield Shattered Space. So for those of you who don't know, Starfield is a video game by Bethesda, and it's a space game. It's probably the first new IP in decades, so it was considered to be going to be one of the greats if it came out in a spectacular way. But it has been released. People thought it was okay. There was mixed. It's on mixed on currently on Steam. I don't know about anywhere else, but on Steam it's mixed. And I'm not saying it's a bad game, but I booted it up. I was gonna play through it again. Try to play through it. Well, I didn't play through it to completion last time, but I did play it up to level 16. Then this thing happened where I got bored. So I decided to play it again with, because Shattered Space is coming up. And I said, all right, let me play a little bit and get to a good place, and then I'll stop and play Shattered Space there. I started playing it. And you know when something feels like a chore to you, you stop really liking it. You just sort of like, yeah, okay, you go here, go there, blah, blah, blah. That happened really quickly with Shattered Space. How do I put this in a nice way? I was bored. I was bored really fast. I got bored almost instantly. Now, I know this is bait. Now, okay. Let me preface this. Let me put an little asterisk by this whole video and just say, this is 100% my opinion. If you guys think differently, go ahead and say so in the comment section. I won't fault you. I won't get mad at you. I'll just understand that, people have different tastes. And, different tastes move the world. But there's a large portion of the fan base for Bethesda. I should say the customer base. Because that's important to distinct. The customer base. The people who pay money. They are not pleased with what they have done here. They felt it was bored as well. They were not pleased as well. So, I thought maybe Shattered Space would get people back into it. I looked up Shattered Space before it came out, and I was like, oh, let me see what I can find. Couldn't find much on it. I was like, there's got to be something on it. There's got to be something about new vehicles, maybe new weapons, maybe new everything. I spent hours looking for stuff on Shattered Space. You know what I found? Bupkis. Literally just basic stuff that you all saw, that we all saw, with the preview stuff and everything else. And I assumed that there would be more. That's why you should never assume. Makes a you know what out of you and me. So I wasn't too surprised when I found out that there wasn't that much to the new update, and people were not pleased with it. It's like, okay, that's fair. They have every right to be upset. They pay good money for it. They are owed a good experience for this. If you played that special premium thing on the launch day, then you were owed a very, very good game because of that. And I'm looking at this game and I'm like, this isn't it, fam. And looking at the stuff that they gave out, I was like, for Shattered Space, I'm like, no to this either. So, the question isn't if it was good or bad for most people. I mean, I don't want to dismiss anyone else's opinion on it, but it's not in a good spot. Let's just say it like that. So the question is now, what was the problem? What caused it to be boring? Some people say they focused on the wrong things in development, like messaging and making sure it was all inclusive to everyone. They had everyone in their thing or whatever. It wasn't particularly racist or anything like that. And people have decried that as you're not really focusing on making a good game. And I would say you're correct. If you're not focusing on making a fun thing for the customer, then you're not coming at it in the right position of thinking. Like, the customer comes first. They should be enjoying this experience, because old customers breed new customers because they say, hey, you should play Shattered Space. It's pretty cool. You should play Starfield. It's pretty fun. Now, no one's saying you can't have representation in your game. Nobody's saying that. There's like a few people who are saying that, but nobody really is paying attention to that. But what people are paying attention to is the fact that you haven't made something interesting. You focused on making people feel better about themselves. You focused on making people feel good about themselves. You focused on giving lectures to your customers, which is really obnoxious of you. Like, how dare you? You do not know me. You do not know your other customers that like that. You should back off. Man, just back off, man. Now, that being said, we're okay with some messaging. Messaging can be good if you know what you're doing. If you place it in, sort of like in the background, you make them feel like it's not really the main part of your game, then yeah, it's good. Now, Starfield, I tell you the truth, I cannot attest that the game is focused on messaging or is focused on representation. And I'll tell you why I can't attest to that, because I didn't get that far in it. I did not get that far into the game. My attention span just like gave out, like just bam, I was gone. So that's already a mark against. Well, so that might not be the issue. So what else could be the issue? Well, it could do the biggest. I say the primary biggest one is that this isn't the early 2000s, nor is this the early 2010s. This is the 2020s. And Bethesda hasn't changed with the times. They haven't marched along with the gameplay to different positions, to different. What I'm trying to say, they haven't developed or progressed since the 10s. They haven't made new leaps and bounds in technology or in the gameplay. Like, for instance, the level up progression system, it feels like it's unnecessary. You gotta shoot like certain amount of enemies to get an increased usage, an increase to your laser weapons or something like that, or your ballistic weapons, and it doesn't. They're not good upgrades. They're like, oh, a 10% increase in damage. Who cares? Who absolutely cares? If they had gave some new traits to it, or like increased damage, like 50 or 40% or something like that with weapons, okay, that would be much more interesting. Or if, like in the last two levels, they gave you some interesting abilities, like ballistic weapons have a tendency to knock down enemies if they get hit with a shot from your gun. Or something like that. Or disintegrate. Like the disintegration with laser weapons from the Fallout games, that's a good example. But they do set you on fire in Starfield, the laser weapons, if you get high enough in level, which I suppose is good. But for all that, you know what I think its issue is, and this is my opinion. What I think its issue is that it has too many choices, but none of the choices matter. If that makes sense. Okay, let me explain. Like, alright. You can do a lot of things here. You can set up your own space station. You can set up your own space base or whatever. You can build ships. You can do all this other stuff. But it doesn't matter to the story that you can or cannot do that in the slightest. Like, it won't slow you down at all. If you just focused on the story missions, just did all that, they wouldn't stop you or say, well, you need a base at level 10 or something. No. They won't say anything to you like that. They won't say, like, well, you need a weapon skill of this to get in it. Like, no. You need a lock pill? No. You don't need anything. You don't need anything at all to progress through the story. So there's no incentive, if you're going through the story, to do any of that. Now, if you want to do side activity, you're going to have to focus in on stuff like that. But for the most part, you can get around it. You don't really need it. You can probably use some console commands and give you some free upgrades to your skills or something like that. But overall, you don't really need to do anything in this game to progress the story or your side quests. It feels all hollow, if that makes any sense. Now, I could be wrong, and I could have, not gotten too far enough in the game to experience that yet, but I don't feel like anything I do matters in the game. Like, I'm not changing things for the better or worse. I'm just sort of just there. I'm not, like, for instance, in Skyrim, you can pick either Stormcloaks or the Empire, and if you start winning battles for them, you start changing the landscape of the world. You get people killed in the game, like they die, depending on which side you pick. And then there is the main story where you fight dragons and you collect dragon bones and you sell them off. Like, more dragons pop up all over the world. They start attacking or fighting you, and you collect their souls. Like, there's certain places that have special dragons. Like, it's all focused on giving you a sense that you are a powerful figure within that world, and you're doing battle to protect it. Fallout is like that too. Like, if you do certain quests for certain people, there's a chance they could die or something. A character could be killed, or if you take a certain side in the mission at the end, you will be forced to exterminate the other factions in the game. There is a sense of what you do is important, but in Starfield, I don't feel like what I do is important. Like, I don't feel like I am an essential character in the story. Which is fine, I guess, but the question is, why keep going? And I think that's the issue, the main issue of the game. Is that it doesn't feel like it's impactful on what you're doing. Like, there's no impact. There's no player impact. Alright. Let's look at some of the comments and some of the reviews. The story is boring as F. We'll recommend it if you're insomniac and need to work the next day. Okay. That doesn't sound like a positive review, bro. It's more Starfield, neither good nor bad, just man. Not guys, these are thumbs up. These are supposed to be positive. Alright. Okay, Starfield and now Shattered Space feels like a game made by a bunch of retarded middle in-place managers doing bare minimum to meet requirements, direct bunch of no new features, no fixes. Okay, so there's not the game is suffering right now. And the overall effects of this is Bethesda's good reputation. I don't think they're going to do well when they release Elder Scrolls 6. Elder Scrolls 6 might be their realization that they've upset their customer base to the point of they having trouble to sell their new Elder Scroll game. I might be wrong, but I'm curious to see what you guys' opinions of that are. Do you think you'll be willing to pre-order Elder Scrolls 6 when it comes out? What will they have to do to make you like Starfield again? Just go ahead and give your opinion in the comment section, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.